Hey there everyone, this is a follow-up video to the stepping up, or rather step up video, whatever I called it, from a couple of nights ago. In this video I'll basically discuss a little bit more about how the B1B2 visa has been typically used among many foreign nationals from outside the States who are in the States looking for yacht jobs. But first let me remind you all that I myself I've been meeting more and more individuals who aren't legally allowed to look for work in the States, as far as what I've learned and from what I've been told. And the common folks who are now flying into the States, into South Florida, looking for yacht jobs are South Africans, Aussies. I haven't seen any Kiwis yet this season. Actually, I have a couple. There's sometimes British folks who I've met. There's more Eastern Europeans than ever before who are now entering the South Florida area looking for work during the Caribbean season. And even Canadians. I mean, I've befriended a couple of Canadians, but a good many of them, whether they know it or not, are not necessarily legally allowed to look for and obtain positions on these yachts, simply because they haven't been appointed a B1 visa soon after they were given a position on a particular yacht. And I'll discuss that a little bit later in this video. I'd also like to remind those Americans and those other nationalities who are part of the yachting industry, and some who are probably flipping me off right now, that it certainly doesn't make me happy in making these kinds of videos. It's not like I gain a lot of satisfaction in doing this, but I'm certainly not all that satisfied that since the beginning of my career in yachting, if I can even call it that, I've had a very hard time obtaining decent positions on yachts, full-time, long-term positions. I've been scavenging for positions since the beginning of my career. All the while, those who are typically Anglo-internationals, whether they're from South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, England, I've been competing and at a disadvantage, since many of them who come to the States to look for work, they don't have a legal right to look for work. And I'm saying this about Canadians as well, and I don't feel good saying this because I have a couple of Canadian friends who went to school with me. One went to school with me to get our STCW together. It was only a week-long course, but I knew her for about a month and a half. She's no longer in the yachting industry, at least not now, but she was looking for work as well, and I don't believe she had a B1B2 visa at all, or I don't think she had a legal right to look for work either. And I have a Canadian friend who I just met about 6 or 7 months ago, who's around my age, very professional, very lovely woman, and she's like a lot of other people who are basically doing the same thing. And previous video, I met this woman who's from South Africa. She was my roommate, really nice girl. We got on very well, had a lot to talk about. We talked about a lot of things we both agreed with, good and bad, about the yachting industry. Her boyfriend is also from South Africa. By now he's in Fort Lauderdale. They now have an apartment. She was waiting to get an apartment with her and her boyfriend. And I think both of them do have a B1B2 visa from what she had told me. And it's a B1, she got her B1B2 visa, this one from South Africa, from a yacht a couple years ago. Now, for all I have ever known about the B1B2 visa, or at least from what I thought I knew, I would assume that's legal. If she has a B1B2 visa that's still in effect, this year or around this time, it seems like she's allowed to get on any foreign flag vessel other than American flag, and everything's fine. It's legal. I also remember her discussing jobs and having her CV submitted when she was having a phone call conversation with Crew Unlimited, and she also mentioned that Elite Crew International has been working with her and her boyfriend in terms of finding a physician or getting them on a yacht, preferably together. And I'm wondering if these agencies are aware of their status, and if it's a matter of this couple who each may have their B1B2 visa, but from previous yachts. That's the key thing I want to convey here. If it is illegal, because according to an article that was in the Triton, was back in March of 2007, based on an official from Customs and Border Protection in Miami. I think he's one of the field directors, or the main field director. He had said that anybody who is looking for work in the United States is basically not allowed to look for work and gain employment, even if they have a B1B2 visa from a previous yacht. It's basically against American law. And if this is true, and these crew agencies like Elite Crew International and Crew Unlimited, if they are aware of this, are they not breaking the law? Okay. And it's tough for me to say this, as you can probably tell. I'm sure a lot of these other videos, most of these videos that some of you have already seen by now, I'm not the best I don't have the best way of speaking or conveying my concerns about what goes on in the yachting industry, but I don't enjoy doing this, as I mentioned earlier, and it's not like I want to get any particular individual in trouble, but by now I don't think it's fair that I continue to be in this industry and compete at a disadvantage among people who are more desirable simply because of their nationality, because they started out, I believe many started out, for example, from South Africa and Australia. They had started out as cheap labor, and they become more and more desirable simply because also many of them are now on these yachts as captains, in the upper echelon position, and they are now hiring people who are from their own country. And I think that's typical, even if you could say that about Americans or anybody else. But it's at a disadvantage still, because many of them coming into the Fort Lauderdale area are coming into the state looking for work illegally, whether they have a previous B1B2 visa, which it shouldn't matter, or whether they don't have anything. Many of them are looking for work and gaining employment on these yachts. And by the way, according to this article, let me try to bring up the title actually. It's by Lucy Reed of the Triton. It's called Yacht Crew Can't Switch Jobs, Yachts on B1 Visa. It's dated March 29, 2007. It's in the Triton. You can Google it and find that article online. But one thing that this article pointed out was if you were to be appointed a position on a particular yacht, then that is when you're allowed to apply and receive a B1 visa. If you obtain this position through other means, for example, if you already have a B1B2 visa and you're using it to get on another vessel, that, according to this article, according to the field director of Customs Border Protection Agency in Miami, I'm probably not saying it right, it's against the law. And I wish people would respect that, and I wish people, from such agencies would also enforce these laws more in a proper fashion, so people like me don't have to make videos like this and complain about this. So I hope this made sense, as well as my other videos probably don't make a lot of sense either, and I hope this is useful information to anybody